Okay, let's state the following: x-intercept, asymptote, and whether it's growth or decay. You have to use your calculator for these, or I do, and just especially to verify, because sometimes they'll look like they're growth, but the general rule of thumb is if this is a fraction, it's going to be a decay. If it's more than 1, it should be a growth. Now, sometimes that switches up if you had a negative number, but 3 is positive, so it's still a decay. The y-intercept is, oh, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, so that's going to be a decay. Guys, I don't have a calculator to put this in. I mean, I have one, I just don't know how to project it, so you need to put this in the calculator as well. Put that in. Go to y equals and do 3 parentheses 1 over 2 close parentheses to the exponent x. And then you can go to the table, and the y-intercept is when x is 0. When x is 0, y is 3. And so you can write it that way, or you could write it, let's see. You could write it 0, 3. Okay, your asymptote is the line that it keeps getting closer to. It doesn't touch, but it continues to get close to the x-axis, and that is when, hold on a minute, that is when y is 0. Okay, so then we're going to go to the next one, and you guys have to put that in the calculator. That is y equals negative 4e to the exponent x. When you put it in the calculator and you go to the graph, when the graph is going to the right, it keeps getting lower and lower and lower, which makes it a decay. The y-intercept is when x is 0, y is negative 4, so it's 0, negative 4. Okay, the asymptote there is the x-axis again, so that is when y equals 0. Put this one in the calculator. Now, logic would tell you when you put this in the calculator, because the exponent is on a number bigger than 1, it should be a growth. But this one is a decay as well, and it's because of that negative. So I would put decay. That negative is going to make it go downhill forever. Okay, your y-intercept, if you put 0 in, this goes, let's see, this becomes 1, negative 2 times 1. So you have 0, negative 2 is your y-intercept. Your asymptote is the line in which the graph, as it's going down, it gets closer and closer and closer to it. It never touches it though. So the asymptote is at y equals 0. Okay, I kind of described this one wrong. When you look at the graph here, it's going to go like this. And so it's not as it gets lower and lower. It starts out, and it starts out very close to 0, and it won't get any closer than that. Okay. The next one, we're going to put this in the calculator, and that's 5e, and remember that's second natural log to the exponent negative x. And when you graph that, oh, hold on. Oh. Let me do that again. Okay, when you graph this, when you put it in the calculator, it's going to look something like this. It's going to come down, and then it gets closer and closer and closer to 0. So your asymptote is y equals 0, and your y-intercept is when x is 0. That would be when x is 0, oops, when x is 0, y is 5. And so because it's going down forever, it is a decay. Number 5, logs are different. If you put log negative x in the calculator, when you type it in, it's going to give you parentheses for it. And the graph is going to look, let me see. Getting a phone call, let's see.
Call from unavailable. Call from unavailable.
Okay, so this one you're going to start out with negative numbers, and you're going to have negative 1, 0, so it's going to cross here. Sorry, it's going to cross here at negative 1, 0, and it's going to come down and get very, very close to a number, but you're not going to, it won't touch it, so you're not going to have a y-intercept, so there's none. And it's going to go this way, but this is going down, 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 so it is a decay. There is no asymptote because it doesn't continue on forever, and there's no y-intercept. All right, the next one, we're going to go back to the calculator and put in 2. And don't forget, the way that you put that one in the calculator is you have to go to Math, scroll up to log base, and you put 8 as the base and x inside the parentheses. When you graph it, it's going to look something like that. The x-intercept is going to be at 1, 0. So if that were x-intercept, it'd be 1, 0. But there is no y-intercept. This is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes this way. So it's definitely a growth. And there is no asymptote.